movement. It connects a galaxy of important policymakers, influencers from across the world under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister. I offer my salutations to this impressive gathering of leaders and experts that uphold the mission of healthy women, children, and adolescents in our countries. In the next 2 days, we will explore ample opportunities by sharing our diverse experiences, challenges, and bottlenecks to put forward not only a safe future for mothers, children, and adolescents, but will also steer pathways for health system strengthening, collaborative learning, and discussions, and exchange ideas to renew their commitment to realize the vision of this partnership. Partners Forum 2018 focuses on improving multi-sectoral action for results, sharing country solutions, and capturing the best practices and knowledge within and among the health and the other related sectors. It also lays emphasis on the importance of people-centered accountability and brings forward the voices and lived realities of women, children, and adolescents through innovative programming and creative projects. The forum will showcase the rigorously produced success factor studies, which will be presented as unique ideas implemented by 12 different countries across 6 regions of the world. Different campaigns and events have taken place as part of this forum, including social media campaign, parliamentary and ministerial conclaves, and media workshops for national and international journalists. Honorable Prime Minister of India, excellencies from participating countries, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, I would conclude by extending my best wishes and assuring that we will make these deliberations fruitful with renewed interest for the health of women, children, and adolescents. My heartfelt thanks to the patron, our Honorable PM, dignitaries present, to all the delegates and representatives once again, and best wishes for the day ahead.
Thank you, Mrs. Preeti Sudan. May I now request Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare India, Shri J.P. Nadda, to kindly give opening remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, dignitaries on the dais, Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, Excellency Upendra Yadav ji, President of Inter-parliamentary Union, Ms. Gabriela Barron, First Lady of Belize, Ms. Kim Simplis Barrow, Shri Ashwini Kumar Chaube ji, the Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, Srimati Anupriya Patel, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, Srimati Preeti Sudan, Secretary Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, and also the Acting Board Chair of PMNCH, Ms. Tikhala Itaye, ministers from 25 countries, representatives from various organizations, partners representing more than 85 countries across the globe, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin with thanking Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for agreeing to be the patron and inaugurating the PMNCH Partners Forum 2018 today. I welcome on behalf of all of you, Honorable Prime Minister, for this occasion. It is my privilege and honor to welcome you all to India for this momentous meeting in this sphere. The forum is a landmark in our collective journey where we have directed our best efforts towards improving the health and well-being of women, children, adolescents who form the pillar of any progressive and healthy nation. We, the global community, have gathered here to celebrate what we have achieved in realizing the vision and goal of helping women, newborns, children, and adolescents survive and thrive. On behalf of India I am happy to share that under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, our efforts are bearing fruits. We have witnessed an accelerated pace of reduction in maternal and child mortality that is much faster than the global average rate of decline and are poised to attain related SDG targets much before the target deadline. Not only this, but we are taking up new challenges. With steady and assured steps, we are coming closer to realizing the dream of universal health coverage. The Ayushman Bharat Yojana, Long Live India scheme, which epitomizes political commitment, vision, and guidance from our Honorable Prime Minister, is already being hailed globally as a paradigm shift in healthcare delivery. It is a holistic scheme that covers all dimensions of healthcare, namely prevention, health protection, and primary care through 150,000 health and wellness centers, as well as inpatient care through PMNCH, a public-funded assurance scheme that provides care of up to 500,000 annually per family to 500 million people, constituting about 40% of nation's population. We are also implementing other countrywide programs like PM's Safe Motherhood campaign and Mission Indradhanush and intensified Mission Indradhanush for immunization. We believe in the power of partnerships and multiple stakeholders working in unison towards the attainment of common goals. The Government of India has taken this approach on priority. Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned the concept of aspirational districts, wherein 117 lowest performing districts were identified to be taken up for holistic development, and I am very happy to inform you that health and nutrition, water, sanitation and hygiene, education are among the sectors that have been given the highest attention for improvement through a collaborative and multi-sectoral approach. India has also steered setting up a national nutrition mission with an aim of doubling the pace of improving nutritional status of mothers, children, and adolescents through concerted actions between various departments and stakeholders. Over the next 2 days, we are going to immerse ourselves in sharing the experiences from various countries, partners, stakeholders, and more importantly, voices from the ground. We just heard what women want. Now the ball is in our court. It is our turn to deliver outcomes for the women, children, and adolescents of the world. We have a lot of interesting sessions and formats lined out for discussion, and I'm sure that all these will prove to be very useful for all of us. With these words, I extend my gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister for his blessings on this momentous occasion and welcome you all once again to the Partners Forum and wish everyone a great stay in New Delhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite the chairperson of the She Decides Global Movement and former president of AFriYAN, the African Youth and Adolescent Network, respected Ms. Tikhala Itaye, to speak on the occasion.
Honorable Prime Minister, honorable ministers, representatives of respective different governments, my fellow young people, and all the partners here present. Viva Partners Forum, viva! Viva Partners Forum, viva! I come from an African continent where we believe in that African proverb that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And here we are together from different countries, different nations and regions, different race, different age, different culture and religious beliefs, but with one common vision: to truly change the lives of every woman, every child, and every adolescent. But if we truly want to bring about that change, we need to work together. And that is the power of partnership. When we are gathered here, I look back in my local communities in Malawi, and I think about all the girls and all the needs at community level, and I'm thinking we need to start connecting the dots. Let what is happening at local community levels shape what we do the next 2 days. I think about the journeys that I take in a local bus when I'm visiting all the different communities. And I was thinking the power of partnership for me has been that journey in that local bus when I have visited different young people and young girls in these different communities. And I think, and I look at this bus and I get in, and I always see a diverse community in this bus. But sometimes we don't talk to one another. And I think with here and all the partners together, we need to start talking to one another, understanding who our partners are, what are we doing, how are we doing it, and how do we work together effectively. The other thing I look at when I look at this bus when I get in is, are the tires pumped up enough? Are they aligned? And we need to be pumped up enough and committed and be persistent and also ensure that we are aligned. We harmonize efforts. Because one thing I've noticed is that we are partners doing things, but sometimes in different ways. But we need to start moving in the same direction because we have a common vision to meet the needs of every woman, every child, and every adolescent. And the other thing is, the driver. The driver needs to be those voices of those communities, those young girls and those women, those adolescents and children, truly driving us to meet the needs that they need. And I always felt that with partnerships, we need to walk the talk and make sure that we're harmonized with this common vision. And in conclusion, I want us all to drive in the same direction, to get to that destiny where truly we see lives transformed and thriving. We see us leaving a legacy where we nurture the next generation of young leaders, because in the next 10, 20 years, they will be leading their agenda. So going forward, I want to conclude on one thing. And I'm going to count to 3, and I want to hear each and every single person in this room, because each person matters. We're going to say, together we can. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Together we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tikhala Itaye. I now invite respected Ms. Gabriela Cuevas Barron, President, International Parliamentary Union and Chairperson, Mexican Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to address this august gathering.
Mr. Prime Minister, ministers, parliamentarians, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address the distinguished gathering on behalf of the Inter-parliamentary Union. As a proud member of the Every Woman, Every Child high-level steering group, I am glad to be here today with other champions for women's, children's, and adolescents' health. Let me first thank PMNCH for the invitation. I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak at the beginning of this very important forum to highlight the role of parliaments in accelerating progress on women's, children's, and adolescents' health, and the important work they are doing in this area. Significant progress has been achieved, including in regions facing the greatest health challenges. Since year 2000, the maternal mortality ratio has declined by 37%, and the under 5 mortality rate has dropped by 47%. Many lives were saved, but this is not enough. Every day, approximately 830 women still die from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. And in low and middle-income countries, complications from pregnancy and childbirth are the leading cause of death among girls aged 15 to 19. In 2017, alone an estimated 6.3 million children and young adolescents lost their lives, mostly because of preventable or treatable infectious diseases and injuries. Greater progress is not only needed on the survive objective of the global strategy, but also all equally important for women, children, and adolescents to thrive in transformed societies. Women, children, and adolescents worldwide face challenges in accessing essential health services, education, and good nutrition, and are victims of violence and discrimination. It is alarming that at least 43% of children under 5 face poor chances of optimal development. That 200 million adolescents were not in secondary school in 2016. That between 2005 and 2016, 1 in 5 women and adolescent girls worldwide were subject to physical and/or sexual violence by an intimate partner, and we can go on. As you know, political will at the highest level is vital to build solid, enabling environment to prioritize the needs and rights of the most vulnerable and marginalized, especially women, children, and adolescents. It is indeed the only way to ensure that health policies and laws are grounded into strong national institutions, comprehensive legislation, sufficient funding, robust data for decision-making, as well as transparency and accountability. And that's why the Inter-Parliamentary Union is here. That's why the parliamentarians' voice, decisions, and actions are vital for this implementation. It is not enough to reach an agreement at the international arena. It is not enough to design a path through SDGs. What is necessary, what is our mandate as parliamentarians, is to translate words into actions. The numbers are clear, but behind these numbers, there are true people, flesh and blood. And we need to understand that while we are here trying to do something, these girls, these women, these boys and adolescents are suffering and are really expecting for us to do something. As parliamentarians, we are responsible of all process of ratification of international instruments, but also it is our duty to translate those commitments into national legislation, into better and stronger institutions, into real budgets. We cannot speak about priorities if they are not really and truly reflected into budget. Of course, we need to work directly with governments. We need to exercise our duty to oversight. And of course, one of the most important mandates is to be working together, closer with the communities that we represent. The only way to change the world is if we start from our own communities. And that's why parliamentarians are important and are vital for this implementation. And for IPU, of course, the partnership that we have with PMNCH is very important. And we only have a first step. Yesterday, we had a parliamentary conclave. And I must say that we received very good, interesting, and mandatory output from the parliamentarians that came to this meeting. But again, this is the first step. We are going to have our next assembly in April, and we're going to dedicate a full morning, 3 hours, for a workshop. We do not want more political statements. We do not want more only words and resolutions. We want to bring these resolutions and these commitments into real action. What we learned from yesterday's meeting was very clear. We can design the best strategies. Of course, we need reliable data, but what we really need here is the leadership, is to take action, is to go to the communities and change and transform these realities. Around the world, we are 46,000 parliamentarians. We need, of course, to do more in terms of gender representation and, of course, in youth representation. We need to hear more voices from youth in parliaments. And I would like to encourage you to help parliamentarians to reach the political arena. But I'm sure that even with these challenges in parliaments, 46,000 parliamentarians are perfectly capable of changing this world. And that's why, from IPU, we are going directly with this partnership for implementation to translate these commitments into our national commitments, into our national laws, into national budget, and of course, into community actions. I am really enthusiastic about this forum. I'm sure that we are going to have not only the best outputs, but we are going really to make a huge step forward to implement this agenda. Please accept my best wishes for successful deliberations.
Thank you so much. May I now request Her Excellency Ms. Kim Simplis Barrow, First Lady of Belize and founder and director of the Lifeline Foundation, to kindly address this august gathering.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Mr. Prime Minister. Good morning. It is a distinct honor and pleasure to join you this morning as we come together at the commencement of these 2 days of deliberation on the global strategy for women's, children's, and adolescent health. I have had the privilege of participating in meetings on the global strategy in my own region of Latin America and the Caribbean, and so I welcome this opportunity to participate in this global meeting. Not only does this event fall within my capacities as Belize's Special Envoy for Women and Children and chair of the Spouses of CARICOM Leaders Action Network, but it also resonates with my personal convictions on the importance of investing in health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents. The evidence has shown time and time again that healthy, educated, and empowered women are better able to raise healthy, educated, confident, and resilient daughters and sons. There is, of course, an inextricable link between poor health and poverty. So indeed, when women are supported and empowered to overcome the effects of poverty and poor health, they can and will live full and productive lives. And so will their children, families, and communities. When the well-being of women is safeguarded, everyone benefits. Optimizing the health and well-being of women, children, and adolescents must be seen as a public good. Priority must be placed on persons from poor and vulnerable families, and careful attention must be made to ensure that all adolescents can access services and appropriate information. No one must be left behind. Ensuring the health of women and children is very much about safeguarding fundamental rights. In the case of small developing countries such as Belize and those in the Caribbean sub-region, it is fully recognized